It's July, a heat wave. The soil in your raised bed is cracked by 10 in the morning, and you're out there every evening with the garden hose, spraying wilting tomato plants for 20 minutes just to keep them alive. Half that water never even reaches a root. But 2,000 years ago, farmers in China solved this exact problem with a buried clay pot. Fill it once, walk away for a week. Modern research says it cuts water use by 50 to 70%, and you can build one for $5 with 2 flower pots. The only catch is a single detail that almost everyone gets wrong. I'll show you exactly what it is. First, meet the Olla, pronounced Oi-ya, an unglazed terracotta pot buried up to its neck in garden soil, filled with water. The earliest written record comes from an ancient Chinese agricultural text called the Fan Shengqi Shu, written in the 1st century BC. That is over 2,000 years of documented use. And the idea traveled. Farmers across the deserts of North Africa and the Middle East used buried clay vessels to grow food in some of the harshest farmland on Earth. Then Spanish colonists carried the technique across the Atlantic to Mexico and the American Southwest. That's where the name comes from. Olla is simply the Spanish word for pot, and you can still see these rounded terracotta vessels stacked high in Mexican pottery markets today. Think about that. Drip lines, sprinkler systems, digital irrigation timers, all 20th century inventions. This clay pot outlasted empires. However, the reason it survived isn't tradition, it's physics. And the physics is where things get genuinely fascinating. So how does a buried pot with no holes water your garden? The answer is soil moisture tension, and I love this concept because it flips everything backwards. You are not pushing water into the soil. The soil is pulling water out of the pot. Unglazed, low-fired terracotta is riddled with microscopic pores, thousands of tiny channels running straight through the clay wall. When that pot sits surrounded by dry earth, the soil acts like a dry sponge pressed against a wet surface. Dry soil creates suction. Scientists call it negative matrix potential. That suction literally draws water through the terracotta and into the root zone. Now watch what happens when the surrounding soil becomes moist. The suction drops. The flow slows almost to nothing. Dry soil pulls hard. Wet soil barely pulls at all. Nobody is operating this system. It runs itself. Your tomato roots drink from the soil around the olla. That drying soil pulls fresh water through the clay. The roots drink again. The cycle repeats all day long, automatically, in every bed. Researchers confirmed this in 2009. Cial, Van Genoosten and Skaggs, publishing in the journal Soil Science, measured exactly how water moves out of buried porous clay, and the release rate tracked the moisture demand of the surrounding soil. It's not a slow drip container. It's a demand-driven system. No pump, no timer, no electricity. The soil itself is both the sensor and the valve. Which raises the real question: how much water does this actually save you? The key study comes from David Bainbridge, published in 2001 in the journal Agricultural Water Management. Reviewing buried clay pot irrigation, he found it reduced water use by 50 to 70% compared to conventional surface watering. At minimum, that's your garden water cut in half. And it makes sense once you see where hose water actually goes. 3 places. It evaporates off hot, bare soil before it soaks in. It runs off into gravel paths where nothing grows. And it saturates the top inch of the bed while the deeper roots stay bone dry. A buried olla dodges all 3. The water never touches the surface, so evaporation is nearly zero. It can't run off because it's already underground, and it arrives exactly where the roots live. The results hold up in the field too. A 2013 study from Lake Bogoria in Kenya by the researcher Kifa and colleagues compared buried clay pots against furrow irrigation for maize and tomatoes. The clay pots used a small fraction of the water, and the tomato yields came out higher. Less water and bigger harvests in the same trial. But remember that one detail I promised you? The detail that decides whether your olla works at all? It's the pot itself, and this is where so many first attempts fail. The pot must be unglazed. Glaze is glass. That shiny coating on a decorative ceramic planter seals every pore shut. And a glazed pot buried in your garden bed is just a jar. Nothing gets through. The pot must also be low-fired. When clay bakes in a kiln at very high temperatures, it vitrifies. The particles fuse and the pores close. Bainbridge notes that irrigation pots shouldn't be fired much above 1,000 degrees Celsius, or the porosity drops and the water simply can't seep. Therefore, test before you bury. Fill the terracotta pot with water and watch the outside surface. A good olla sweats. Within about 30 minutes, the outer clay visibly darkens with moisture, and you might even spot tiny beads of water forming on the surface. That's water moving through the wall, exactly what you want. If the outside stays bone dry after half an hour, that pot is fired too hard or hiding a sealant. Don't bury it. It will sit underground full of water while your plants go thirsty around it. The good news? Standard garden center terracotta usually passes, which means the $5 build is wide open to you. And here it is, step by step. Gather 2 standard unglazed terracotta flower pots, the same size. 8 to 10 inches wide is perfect for a raised bed. Add food-safe waterproof silicone sealant and a flat stone or terracotta saucer for the cap. Step 1. Plug the drainage hole of the first pot. A bead of silicone with a small stone or tile pressed into the hole works beautifully. Let it cure fully. Step 2. Run a ring of silicone around that pot's rim, flip the second pot upside down, and press the 2 rims together. Rim to rim. You've just made a hollow clay egg. Step 3. Leave the top drainage hole open. That's your filling port. Give the silicone a full 24 hours to cure before it touches water. Step 4. Bury the olla in your garden bed with only the top inch or 2 of clay above the soil. Backfill firmly, pressing the earth against the clay walls. Good soil contact matters because remember, the soil does the pulling. Step 5. Fill it through the top hole and cap it with your flat stone. The cap stops evaporation and keeps mosquitoes out. That whole build takes 1 afternoon, and anyone can do it. It's really very simple. Quick pause. If this is the kind of gardening you're here for, hit subscribe. This channel digs into raised beds and soil science every week, and there's a big series coming that you will not want to miss. Now, where do the plants go? Underground. Water spreads from the buried pot in a rough bubble, and in loamy garden soil, that reliable moisture zone reaches about as wide as the pot itself. A 10-inch olla waters plants within roughly a foot. A larger vessel stretches closer to 18 inches. Your soil changes the shape of that bubble. Sandy soil drains downward fast, so the moist zone is narrower. Plant closer. Heavy clay soil spreads moisture wider, but more slowly. The practical rule is easy to remember. Plant in a ring 6 to 12 inches from the olla wall. In a standard 4-foot by 8-foot raised bed, 2 or 3 ollas spaced 2 to 3 feet apart cover the whole bed. And a beautiful thing happens next. Roots grow toward moisture, so over a few weeks your tomato and squash roots wrap themselves around the buried clay. They hug the olla. Deep, strong root systems built exactly where the water is. Refills run every 3 to 7 days. A scorching week with big, thirsty plants in sandy soil means closer to 3. Mild weather with a thick mulch layer over the bed can stretch a full 7. Better yet, the olla reports back to you. Lift the capstone and check the water level inside. Dropping fast means your plants are drinking hard. Barely moving means the soil is satisfied. A built-in moisture meter, no batteries required. As for crops, the deep-rooted heavy drinkers love this method most. Tomatoes, squash, melons, cucumbers, peppers, zucchini. They send roots straight to the olla and thrive on steady, even moisture. And that consistency is also one of your best defenses against blossom end rot on tomatoes. Basil and perennials like berry bushes respond well too. But I want to be honest with you because ollas are not magic, and 3 real limitations come with them. First, germination. Seeds sit in the top inch of soil, and olla moisture sits deeper down. So keep hand-watering your seedlings with a watering can until their roots grow into the moisture zone, usually 2 or 3 weeks. Second, frost. Terracotta holds water inside its porous walls, and when that water freezes, it expands and cracks the clay. If your winters freeze hard, lift your ollas in fall, or at least empty them completely, and cover the openings. Third, dense, shallow plantings. A tight carpet of lettuce or a solid block of carrots doesn't match the olla's ring-shaped moisture zone. For those beds, surface watering or drip lines still win. Know the limits, and this method will never disappoint you. So there it is. A 2,000-year-old clay pot that outperforms the garden hose, backed by modern soil science, built in an afternoon for $5. Fill it once. Let the soil do the thinking. Watch your water use drop by half or more. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you try the 2-pot DIY version in your garden this season? Tell me in the comments, and if ollas are already buried in your beds, share what's working and what surprised you. And if you're gardening through brutal summers, stick around because this channel is launching a full series on heat-proofing raised beds. Soil blends that hold moisture, shade strategies that save your harvest, all of it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Happy gardening, and I'll see you in the next one.